What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Play Pause. Tonight we are going to be setting up the Xbox Series X, something I've been looking forward to for quite some time now. Let's dive in. So typically when I upgrade from one generation of console to the next, let's say going from my Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, or going from an older PlayStation to a newer PlayStation, in most cases I would just take the old one out from where it is, you know, very typical size here. You could fit a DVD player, Blu-ray player, many different things in there. But upon doing a little bit of measuring and taking a look at the size of this, something tells me that's not gonna fit. So we're gonna have to get creative. Let's see what we can do. It's the size of a speaker? No. Alright, so I think we have come up with a plan. I've had some deliberation with the missus and I, and we think ultimately the Xbox is going to live here. It kind of goes along with the theme, big black boxes, white cabinet. It kind of fits in, so we're going to give it a shot, which means I'm going to have to move my modem and my router, which, not ideal. I've spent a lot of time getting my networking in place, but it's got to be done. And you know what? I think this is going to look a lot cleaner than seeing the router antenna mess that we have here right now. So that is the game plan. I'm really hoping I can stand this up because, you know, it looks so nice and I want the venting to come out the top, but it might block the TV, so we'll find that out later. But to start, I guess I'm going to have to unplug all my internet right now. So here we go. Alright. And let's see. I'll get that out of the way. You know, it's kind of fun. It's almost like spring cleaning sometimes when you have to integrate a new thing into your specialized space here. I am definitely a big proponent of cable management. I do not like seeing cords hanging around and whatnot, so I'm going to do my best to maintain that here. And let's see, it's very monolithic, eh? Kind of looks like a thing. What do we got here? It blocks the TV. It blocks the TV. I'm gonna have to move it, aren't I? That's what I thought. Alright, it's gonna have to lie outside. You know, I've seen photos of it lying on its side, and you know, on one hand I'm glad it does have little feet on the side as we showed in the original unboxing. The big giant stand I'm not gonna see when I walk into my room all the time, so that's okay. This will have to do. Alright, let's grab the cords and get this plugged in. Alright, so we have Xbox Series X in its place, all connected. We got the modem moved, we got the router rerouted, all cable managed. Now it's the moment of truth that we've been waiting for. Turn it on for the first time, so all that's left to do is put in the AA batteries. Yes, it's not a rechargeable controller. AA batteries into the controller here. And be prepared for Xbox Series X. So excited. Oh. And fast forward about, I don't know, a week and a half from the last video where I was setting up the Xbox Series X. I've now had a little bit of time to play around with this unit, and there's some things that I really wanted to talk about and share, henceforth the addition to this setup video. I'm going to give you a couple of my first impressions. Now, if you want to hear it in depth, you can make sure to check out our podcast, which I will link in the description. But yeah, otherwise, follow along, and we're going to go into things like some of the new features, such as quick resume, the actual startup time. You notice I've got a PC here, Xbox One X and Xbox Series X. I did some benchmarking between the three of them, specifically around startup times into a game. So from the moment you're at the home screen, getting into the game and being able to play it, what kind of time frames you're looking at from game to game. And you might be surprised, so make sure don't move away. So moving from the last clip where you saw me setting up the Xbox Series X, I took a few minutes, got it all turned on, only to run into my first problem that I probably should have done a little bit of research, so I'm going to give you a PSA now, in that it took a really long time to get a couple of games downloaded onto the Xbox Series X. Now I focused primarily on optimized games for the Xbox Series X and S. So these are games like Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves, Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, and the first thing I realized is they not only are they larger in terms of actual size compared to what I was used to previously on the Xbox One X. But it took a long time, and something tells me that may have had something to do with just the sheer amount of people that were setting up an Xbox at the same time and trying to download the games. I can only imagine the Microsoft servers being overwhelmed. But here is my hot tip. If you have an older generation Xbox One and you have some of the games that you're hoping to test out on the newer Xbox Series X, there is an option under your network settings for network transfers. This was something that I found out a little bit later on, and it actually works both ways, assuming it's a game that can be copied over. In some cases, the game does have to be installed, and therefore it just will not show up under this network transfer area of your system settings. But if you enable it on both systems are connected to the same network, ideally over a wire, but you can do it wirelessly. You're actually able to transfer from one console to the other. So you're not going to get stuck waiting for it to come from the server, or if you've got not the fastest internet, or there's a bunch of other people in your household using the internet at the same time watching Netflix, whatever it may be, that network transfer is going to be a lifesaver. You're really going to get into game that much faster. So my first night with the Xbox Series X was largely piddling around the main menu, seeing what games were available that had already been optimized. Not the best experience, considering the main menu is pretty much a carbon copy of what I had on the Xbox One X, which, up until that point, up until I actually got a chance to start playing a game on this, I was pretty underwhelmed. I got it plugged in. The setup process was seamless because I already had an account, because I already had the app installed on my iPhone. However, once I got in, I started using it. Again, the controller's not a big departure from the previous generation. It is largely unchanged. There are a few updates. In general, the only thing I really noticed that first night in the main menu and navigating through the Microsoft Store, the Game Pass menu, is just the responsiveness was improved. So things like thumbnails for the game previews, they were loading faster than what I was accustomed to on the Xbox One X, which at the time I didn't think was that bad. However, the moment you start using this, you do realize, hey, this thing is a much more capable machine. So that was my first experience. Going into day 2, after I had left it for a night, it had a chance to download those games while it was sleeping and install them. So I finally got to test out my first experience. Now, many of these games were already cross-compatible with a PC, so I've had an opportunity to play most of these games on something that was more powerful than an Xbox One X. And I will say right away, I got into Forza Horizon 4, and you do notice a difference, not only in the visual fidelity, but in the overall just performance, the smoothness at which you're going to be playing games. This is playing it at 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and it did it easily. There was no frame drop that I could pick up on. There's nothing to indicate that it was struggling to do this. I am used to playing a lot of these games at a faster refresh rate. However, I do find on my PC at times these games can stutter, or I see other things like aliasing. You just run into the little jagged lines and whatnot. On my 55-inch 4K HDR TV, this is the first time I really experienced true 4K gaming in HDR at a solid 60 frames per second. And oh my gosh, it was fantastic. It honestly, I only got into the PC gaming market about 5 years ago. I built my first gaming PC, really dedicated gaming PC, about 5 years ago. It's easier. It's easier. It's wonderful getting to play on my big screen TV, on my couch. I only got into PC gaming about 5 years ago. I was always really more of a console gamer growing up. And with seeing how this performs right out of the box, I was so happy to be able to do it on my couch at the level that it's able to do it at. The first thing I wanted to do was try out this new quick resume feature. Hopped over from Ori to Master Chief Collection, where I left off in Halo 3. Within 20 seconds, I was back over in Master Chief Collection, and I was playing Halo 3 exactly where I left off. It wasn't even at a pause screen. It literally just brought me back right where I was leaving off, and I was playing again. I proceeded to try that about 5 times in a row, did not have a hiccup, stutter, nothing. I was able to jump back and forth between the two games. It was really game-changing. I had never experienced, I just realized the pun, game-changing. I never experienced moving back and forth between a game so quickly, so seamlessly. It honestly feels almost as good as just multitasking on an iPhone. You know, you just open up the app switcher, you can hop between the apps, while obviously not immediate jumping between them. You know, it does take 10 to 15 seconds or so. I was jumping between games, picking up exactly where I left off. They're just in a suspend state. That is where I'm really seeing the value in this quick resume feature, and I truly do think it's amazing. All right, so let's check out some of these numbers. In terms of quick resume, you've got Forza Horizon 4 took me 11.01 seconds to go from one game to back to Forza Horizon 4, exactly where I was in playing the game. Ori, 14.28 seconds. Gears of War 5 or Gears 5, 14.82 seconds. Master Chief Collection, 13.56 seconds, and Sea of Thieves clocked in at, oh, never mind, Sea of Thieves, online game, it does not support quick resume. The one thing I do want to say about quick resume, not all games support it, and it's not always obvious what games are actually in this suspended quick resume state where you can hop back into it. It's not the clearest thing. It is something that I would like to see Xbox integrate into the home screen. You now have those little badges that tell you if it's optimized for X or S when you're navigating through the store, through your Game Pass library. That is something I would really like to see them add in. A little badge that lets you know, hey, this is a quick resume title, or you are in a pause state. You know, maybe if I've opened too many games now, it'll let me know, hey, you have the option of selecting which game you want to cancel quick resume for to make room for this game. So Microsoft, please do this. That would be fantastic. I would really, really appreciate knowing which games are in the suspend state and when it's going to be turned off, because right now it's a little bit all up in the air. All right, so let's talk about how long it takes to get from the home screen to a game and being able to play. Starting off with Sea of Thieves on the Xbox One X, it took 4 minutes 45 seconds, nearly 46 seconds to get from the home screen to the game. On PC, a minute 11 seconds. So, you know, you're shaving off 3.5 minutes just going from the Xbox One X to the PC. And in first place, the Xbox Series X at a minute 5 seconds, shaving off yet another 6 seconds from the PC. Really impressive. Now, I do have to say, I do have most of my games installed on the hard drive in this, so every game is running off of the Flash NVMe storage. That is PCIe 4.0, so it is the latest storage technology. It's very, very fast, and it was noticed for sure. Going down the rest of the list, Forza Horizon 4, we have Xbox Series X, 2 minutes 34 seconds, PC, 2 minutes 25 seconds, Xbox Series X, 46 seconds, just shy of 47 seconds. That is incredible. That is over twice as fast as the PC. Mind-blowing. Ori, Xbox One X, 2 minutes 21 seconds, PC, 29 seconds, Xbox Series X, 52 seconds. So this is actually one game where the PC was able to fire up the game and get into play actually quite a bit faster, about 20 seconds faster. Now, 52 seconds is nothing to complain about to get into a game. You know, very typically you're waiting much more time than that to get into a game, but it was surprising, especially after I just tested Forza Horizon 4 before that and found out I could get into that game, which is a very graphic, intensive game. Usually I'm used to waiting, pulling out my phone, you know, whatever it is to keep me busy waiting for this game to load. The fact that Xbox Series X is able to load a game like Forza Horizon 4 in 47 seconds or less, and that Ori took a solid 5 seconds more, that was quite shocking to me. It was quite shocking to me that it was not able to boot it as fast as the PC. But again, PC users, you get the benefits of optimization, and you never know. It could just be the way that the Unity engine in particular runs on a x86 architecture versus the new Zen 3 AMD architecture that we're running here. So, hard to say why exactly, but for the rest of them, Xbox Series X took the cake. We got Gears 5, 2 minutes 39 seconds on Xbox One, 1 minute 54 seconds on the PC, 1 minute 24 seconds on the Series X. Master Chief Collection, 1 minute 3 on the Xbox One X, 48 seconds on the PC, and 25.66 seconds on the Series X. So all in all, really impressive numbers. Series X officially launches games faster than my gaming PC, which I don't think I've ever been able to say before that a console has been able to outperform my gaming PC. And that kind of leads into the next part that I wanted us to talk about today, which is we're kind of at this crossroads now where, yes, PCs will still dominate the next generation, the current generation now of consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X. You can build a PC that will outperform both of them. Yeah, you can build a more powerful PC. No question. But at the price, and this is the bigger thing, the value that you're getting in this, it's incredible. $5.99 Canadian for this box here gets you the equivalent of probably a $1,500 or more gaming PC. You know, you'd have to be on quite the budget to get the same specs, the same performance out of a Windows device or out of a PC computer than you would out of your Xbox Series X. And that really shocked me. You know, I typically will opt in to play most of my games on a PC given the choice. With Xbox Series X, now I officially have a console that, in my opinion, is outperforming my PC, and I really have to question, do I upgrade my PC now? Do I spend thousands of dollars to upgrade my PC when I already have this device that can play games at a quality that is incredibly, not just acceptable, but impressive in my opinion, on my couch, being nice and comfortable, on my big screen TV with my nice sound system? That's hard to beat. And for any of you that are sitting at home wondering, hey, do I build a PC to play games? You know, there are many reasons to do that. Maybe you have more reasons to build a PC than just to game on it. But if you're looking for a dedicated gaming experience and you're on a budget, you're going to be hard-pressed to beat what you got here in terms of value. That quick resume feature, it's nowhere else. You can't get something that's going to be able to swap between games as fast as what you're going to be able to do it here. It really creates this debate of, you know, where do I want to play games? And right now for me, I think it's going to be on the couch for the next little while. This is really impressive. The one knock I still have on it overall is that lack of new titles out right now for it. I really want to see what this can do. And although, yes, there's a bunch of optimized games out there for it, I want to see games built from the ground up with the intention of being played on this. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm most excited for. I will be checking out games like Cyberpunk sooner than later, as soon as it's out. I'm very excited to jump into that, and I do intend on playing it on this when, you know, just if you had asked me a month ago, I would have been saying it on the PC. So it's really changed my mind as to what's possible. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I know it's been a little while since we released the unboxing video, and it's been a little while since I recorded the setup of it, but I appreciate you sticking in here with me. If you like what you saw here today, check out our podcast. Alex and I talk about the latest on The Mandalorian week after week. We've been talking about, you know, our opinions and our findings on the Xbox versus the new PlayStation and just gaming and tech in general. So if you enjoy any of that, check us out. You can check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you listen to podcasts, you can check it out. And yeah, if you like this video, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if there's anything else you want to hear or see. Thanks so much for checking it out, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.